I think your audience knows, I think we all know, that in this day and age, a computer can do anything. These voter machines are essentially a computer. Who is to say they could not be rigged? Of course they can. Now, you ask me why the Republicans don't do it. Quite sadly, I think they do. That's why I briefly had to leave the Republican Party and become a libertarian. I have no doubt that after the last election, when Karl Rove, who was George Bush's campaign manager and a Romney partisan, insisted that, your numbers have to be wrong, he said on Fox. Romney will definitely carry Ohio. The reason he was so certain is because it was bought and paid for. He knew the fix was supposed to be in. Oh. Therefore, I can only conclude that sometimes things don't stay bought. And perhaps Obama came in with a better offer. But yes, we do have widespread
This stuff
voting.
is going to horrify most voters. I mean, this is amazing.
Well, I think that there's a mathematician named Richard Charnin. He's a very eccentric fellow. Last time I met him, he was wearing a ski jacket in 90-degree weather. He's one of those. He's also brilliant. He's a retired mathematician, and he's a genius. He's written an extensive monograph on how every election in the state of Wisconsin in the last decade has been stolen. And you figure this out by comparing the polling on a district-by-district basis to the results, and then you'll find a swing that is just mathematically impossible. In other words, if you were losing a given precinct by 4 points, and then you win it by 12, such a swing is unlikely, to say the least. So,
what does this swing? Do they typically move in one direction?
Oh yeah, the elections are rigged for one entity or the other. So, right. Who are the perpetrators? Well, the perpetrators are the people who manufacture and sell these machines. The most common electronic voting machine, which is really just a computer, is a company called Diebold. Diebold's top executives and the owners of the company are major donors to the Bushes. Is this a major factor on how George W. Bush quite improbably beat John Kerry? An election that, in all truth, on paper, Kerry should have won and Bush should have lost. So, to bring it to the current time, I think we have widespread voter fraud. The first thing that Trump needs to do is begin talking about it constantly. It's inoculation, if you will. He needs to say, for example, today would be a perfect example, I am leading in Florida. The polls all show it. If I lose Florida, we will know that there's voter fraud. Yes. If there's voter fraud, this election will be illegitimate. The election of the winner will be illegitimate. We will have a constitutional crisis. We will have widespread civil disobedience, and the government will no longer be the government. If we can't have an honest election, nothing else counts. I think he's got to put them on notice that their inauguration will be a rhetorical, and when I mean civil disobedience, not violence, but it will be a bloodbath. The government will be literally shut down if they attempt to steal this and swear Hillary in. No, we will not stand for it. We will not stand for it.
So, I mean, the dream here, the ultimate, I mean, the ideal is that he wins by such a significant margin nationally that this is unnecessary. But it's interesting to hear you say this, and it's funny also because Trump will go there. He will go to the places other politicians won't. And he's probably the only person to run for president in the last 50 years who would dare to do this and might even get away with it. It's remarkable, isn't it, how he's just sort of re-injected reality into politics.